and today's lesson is all about making a pig with air dry clay. Oink oink. Okay, so before you watch this lesson, please make sure you've watched my other lesson on the basics of working with air dry clay, so you guys know how to wedge clay, how to cut clay, how to join clay, and how to make slip. It's very vital for this video. So I'm sitting here with some wedged clay, and it's nice and soft and malleable, and we are just going to tear off the piece that we actually need. Okay, so when we build a sculpture, it is a lot like drawing, where we build everything up with basic shapes. I'm not going to make my pig too big because my sculpture wheel isn't that big for this one. But I'm basically going to start by making an oval, which is one of our 5 basic shapes. Wedge it in my hands. Just make sure I kind of pat it into an oval shape. Bonk. All right. I'm then going to proceed to make my head, which is going to be a circle. So it's a bit like rolling a snowball or making a mud cake. And there's my head. I'm also going to be making my 4 little feet. Now, I am making a pig today, but this could be anything with 4 legs. You guys can turn it into a dog. You can turn it into a wild dog. It could become a cat if you wanted it to. But the most important part of this lesson is that you can see how to pump up a head and how to pump up a body that needs to stand on 4 legs. So, okay, remember when we're halfway with a project, an art project, we don't panic. This looks atrocious. And this is just our basic shapes. Now let's make a pig. Yeah, I'm now going to place this little guy on my sculpture wheel. If you don't have a wheel, just build it on a surface. You just have to be able to have a small table so you can keep walking around and changing your direction. So you need to start. It's gonna, in the beginning, look a little bit like a Minecraft pig. Don't worry about it, we'll get there. It'll be cool eventually. So I'm going to have my little body, and it's going to rest on my 4 legs. Okay, I'm making sure that they're like really plonked down, they're kind of the same height, and it looks a little bit like Stonehenge. I'm now going to scrape my clay at the bottom where this baby has to adhere to. So I'm going to scrape, and I'm going to apply a slip. Alright, so we have scratched the body, scratched the legs, and we are going to apply slip, and I am going to plonk this on. Ta-da! This looks like something Obelix would build. Okay, so very wonky looking, wonky donkey, wonky pig. This is what we've got now, but don't stress about it. We're going to start building this little body and really making it look like a piggy. Okay, so I'm now just going to work this in and really start smoothing it out. It's very good to have a reference. Always have a reference photo that you work from, so that you can really see what a pig's legs look like and how their hips join. And let's get cracking on our pig's body. So now I've got my legs. They're quite thick for a pig, but I'd like to have more clay so I can cut away. It's much harder to just cut away more and more and more. I've curved these back legs in like this. I hope you guys can see that. I'm now going to use my pen, and we're going to get up quite close so I can show you guys how I'm going to carve and shape this leg. Okay, so that is kind of like my hip of my pig coming in. And then it's going to slide down, and I am going to cut away what excess clay I don't need. going to do that for both sides. Yeah, it's really starting to look like the hind legs of a pig. I'm also going to be cutting the V in between the legs a bit bigger now. Really starting to get that pig shape, which is so nice. It's really what we want. Okay, I'm now going to start shaping the front. I'm also going to just start by cutting this V out here. Cutting it much slimmer at the front. Piggy's legs are quite small. And really just sculpting it. Here at the back, I'm also going to make it slant down. Remember that this shoulder is coming from there, and this shoulder is coming from there. So I'm kind of following those lines. Now, depending on what you guys are making, my legs are quite close together, so my sculpture would actually stay up. If you're making like a bigger wild dog or a horse, you're gonna have to bubble up paper and really pronk the body up so that it is stable. You can always remove that afterwards, right? Okay, let's add the head. Alright, so for my head, I made that circle. I'm also just going to change it a little bit and just add a bit of a snout. So I'm just kind of making it flat there with my hand, and we're making a realistic looking pig, not like a cartoony pig, but I mean, if you want to make a cartoony pig, you can as well. And just really starting to build that snout. They actually have these longer oval kind of heads. So there it's really, really taking shape. And that's going to be my pig's head. So your pig's head is actually there, it's attaching there and not there. Okay, that's more like a sheep. This is going to be more like a pig. So same principles apply for joining, which is always scratching both sides. And then we're going to use some slip. And we're going to wedge this clay on. Now it's very important that you guys join this properly, right? We don't want this head to fall off. It's not fun at all. This almost looks like a little grizzly bear as well. It's a lot of things as this can become. Alright, if you feel like you need to give the head support, which I definitely feel like I need to do right now, I'm going to be taking a paper toilet roll and I'm going to cut it to the exact height that I need. Okay, so I'm going to take my paper toilet roll, I'm going to kind of measure and cut the little section that I need. I'm going to cover it in paper towel just so the rugged edges don't squirm into my pig, and I'm going to pronk the head up. I'm going to leave this under my sculpture so this baby can actually dry like this, and I'll remove it once it's completely dry, but this is really going to give me stability. If I need to, I can also put a structure under his stomach to keep him upright. But I first want to finish all the little hooves and stuff before I do that. Okay, let's move on to ears. Okay, working with my basic shapes principle, I've just got 2 circles that's going to become my clay for my ears. You want to squeeze them flat. Now, you don't want to make this too thin. I've seen a lot of people make this way too thin. If it cracks like that on the side, just take a wet finger and just smooth it out. And then pig's ears actually have a bit of a tip, um, like that. So I've kind of made that. And then I usually wedge these 2 edges together when I make a little ear, um, which looks really like a pig's ear. So their ears are quite on the side. It's not on top like a rabbit, so it's more on the side. So I'm just going to repeat this, make 2 ears and then join them. Okay, so now I'm going to join these ears. I'm going to scratch where I want to insert them. I can also take the back of my pen and just make a bit of a hollow there where they need to go in. But make sure you scratch a lot and that you use your slip, which is your clay glue, to really, really join these. And I'm going to plonk on my ears. And remember, if your fingers are too big, you can use a paintbrush to also just get in there and really just smooth it out. Making sure you get all the air out. I'm now going to come from the front and I'm going to be doing quite a few things. I'm going to indent my little nose here so I can get the roundness of the nose. I'm going to use my fingers and my little pig to do that with. I am also just going to use my thumbs to kind of press a hollow where the eyes are. Because they do have this ridge where the eye actually sits in the eye socket of the skull. And I'm going to be using my pig to give my little eyes. Okay, so look at your reference photo to make sure you put the eyes exactly where they need to be. And I'm also going to be making my 2 little holes in my nose. So I'm going to make them slightly bigger just because, you know, oink oink, it's cute. So I've got my little snout and I can hear this guy. He's coming to life now, which I really love. The best part of sculpture is where you get to meet the little character. Okay, I really like my little piggy. I'm now gonna just make sure that the muscles on the hips and stuff are built out properly. I'm gonna try and add a mouth as well. And I'm going to make sure that I added my little hooves in the detail. So it's really like just tweaking and fiddling now. Okay, now for rounding off your project, you need a sponge, you need a paintbrush, you just want a little bit of water, don't make a mud bath, just a little bit of water and brushing in, really finishing off your pig, getting it nice and smooth, exactly the way you want it. Taking a paintbrush and just brushing away whatever little flakes there are. Okay, we're now gonna add the little tail. So you can't really have a little wire tail that's gonna break off. So you kind of have to improvise, and you're gonna have to make it rest on its butt so that it doesn't completely break off. So I'm going to be making a little snake, a coil, and I'm going to wind it up like a pig's tail, and their tails are actually quite long. And then I'm going to place that there. So I am going to be scratching, and I'm going to be using my slip as always. And I'm going to glue that on there, which is super cute. And I can use my brush just to make sure that I've joined it everywhere. I'm going to get ready to remove my clay. I'm going to just put a paper towel on a polystyrene. The proper way to remove your clay off your stand is with a wire. So they've got this little wood so you don't cut yourself, and it is to glide it through and make sure you cut it loose. Okay, once it's loose, you can prop it up. Now is the perfect opportunity to really sort out this bottom. Okay, I'm going to cradle it softly in my hand. I'm going to be using my paintbrush, and I am going to get in there and make sure my stomach is smooth, my legs are nice and far apart, and make sure you don't fiddle with the length of your legs, because you don't want, you know, wonky pig, because they're now exactly the same height. And I'm just really going to sort out these little legs where I couldn't get in before. It's such a cute stomach. I mean, if you want, you can make some little teats here for your piggy, if it's a mama piggy. And I'm just going to double check that I've worked in my neck properly as well now. Just tidying up my toes here, make sure that I like them. I think I'm happy with that. It's looking much more manicured. And I'm now going to plonk him on my paper towel. Once I've got him there, I just quickly want to cut the toes for the back legs. Now, very important, you now want to put your structure back, because if you're going to leave this baby for like a few days like this, you're going to come back and he's going to be all sad and mopey like Eeyore. So you need to prop his head back up. I'm also just going to take some paper towel and shove it under his stomach. Make sure he's got support where he needs it in life. Once you've propped up your pig, just make sure you haven't manhandled him anywhere, that he's still nice and, you know, ready to go to the market. And now we're just going to cover this baby up. You're going to cover it with plastic. So you're going to cover it from the one side of the bag and from the other side of the bag, and keep it like that for 3 days in the dark cupboard. After 3 days, you're going to take the plastic off. You're going to open the cupboard door, let it air a bit. You want this baby to dry really slow. So it's going to take about a week for it to dry. If you're in like humid situations and it's very cold where you are, it will take even longer. Longer is better. Please don't stress about it. Do not rush the drying process, and never put your clay in direct sunlight. That's it for how to make a pig out of air dry clay. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Please give it a thumbs up and a like if you really did. And remember to subscribe to our channel to not miss out on our next awesome art project.